Good evening, CLC. I'm Naomi Fada. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm continuing on our talk about who we are in Christ, which has been an ongoing series for many weeks now, and I think I'm just about to wrap it up as we head into the holiday season, but we'll see. And I will be missing in action next week, so as I break from recording next week, I will pray about what to speak on next, or if we will continue on for a few more weeks with this, who we are in Christ. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how we are heirs and what that means. So Romans 8:16 and 17 says, "The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, heirs also, heirs of God and fellow heirs with Christ. If indeed we suffer with him, in order that we may also be glorified with him." And maybe when you're young, at least when I was young, I didn't really understand the concept of heirs. Like, what does it mean to be an heir, right? Because we're young and we're not inheriting anything and all of that. And so it seems kind of like a nebulous concept. But a couple of years ago, when my spiritual father passed away, it became really real to me exactly what God did for us. So, because this man who was my spiritual father, he didn't have any children of his own, and he loved me. He loved me as his own child in a way that I could never imagine feeling loved. And it was a reminder of how much God loved us. So when he was on earth and he was here with me, I knew that he loved me. I knew that our relationship was really strong and that we were really close. But it wasn't actually until he died that I really understood, because I was his heir. And I didn't deserve it. I didn't earn it. I wasn't related. He didn't give birth to me, not that he would, he's a man, but meaning I wasn't his blood. And yet he chose to give it to me. He chose me as an heir. And even the house that I live in today isn't mine because of something that I did. It's not mine because I deserved it. I don't get to raise my kids in what we would consider my grandfather's house because of a bloodline that I was born into. But I get to do that because I was chosen as an heir. And for me, that is so beyond an example of who God is. And it still isn't totally clear to me what it means to be an heir of God, but if it is anything like being an heir of my spiritual father, I can only imagine that it is something so far beyond our comprehension. And, in John 14:3, it talks about that he is going to prepare a place for us. And going to prepare a place for us is something that, this is what our inheritance, when he comes for us, that he's gone and prepared a place and we get to live there forever. But also there's some verses in Ephesians, and it's pretty long, but in Ephesians 1 verse 11, "We have obtained an inheritance, having predestined according to his purpose, who works all things after the counsel of his will, to the end that we who were first to put hope in Christ should be to the praise of his glory. And then later on, it goes on in verse 18, I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened, so that you may know what is the hope of his calling, what are the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints. And some of that is inheritance in terms of we've been promised many things from the Father, whether it's protection or just many other things, which I'm not going to get into in this talk, but like there's an inheritance in heaven waiting for us, and there's also some things that he wants us to grasp about our inheritance here on earth. And so to keep matters short, I just want to close out with take some time, read Ephesians chapter 1, read John 14 where it talks about him going to prepare a place for us, and just pray and ask him to birth in you a revelation of what it means to be an heir of God. He chose you to inherit blessing and eternity in heaven. And so, and just relationship and so much more. But just read it and listen for him to speak to you, to speak to your heart, to your spirit, to really put those truths deep down within you. So God bless you. Look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks here on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to check us out in person at 20 West Main Street in Catskill, meeting at 10:30 on Sunday mornings. We'd love to see you there.